Hey sis, hey, welcome to the Must Be the Mental podcast with Shar. This is the space where Black women come to heal, be seen, and stop suffering in silence. I'm Shaaree McCalpine, licensed therapist, speaker, and your mental health bestie. So grab your favorite beverage and let's talk about it. Hey y'all, hey, welcome to the Must Be the Mental podcast with your girl, your mental health bestie, Shar. Y'all already know this is a space for Black women to pull up so that we can get the healing, the understanding, the conversation that we need, that only we understand. You know what I mean? All right, y'all. Today we are talking about, are we delulu? Are we delusional about our self-love, our self-care, about how we really feel about us? Today's guest is my girl. Y'all know I'll be coming through for y'all. My girl, Setra Stevenson. She is an author, a mother, a friend, an entrepreneur, a brand owner, an MBA holder, and y'all, a motivational speaker. Her brand is I Am Worth It. Y'all, do y'all hear that? That already come through like T. Clock it, clock it, clock it. So, y'all, you already know. Pull up, get your feet up, put on your bonnet, grab your drink, whether it's tea, a cocktail, champagne. Get you some champagne because we're going to be talking about some wins and some love today. Grab a cupcake and we celebrating. Let me bring her to the stage. This is Setra Stevenson. What up, girl?
Hey, what up, though? Hey, well, thank you for having me. I am just so honored and so blessed to be a guest here on your show. So I am super excited and thank you for the great introduction. But I am just super excited to be here with you. I mean, yes, must be the mental podcast. Yes, I'm just super excited.
That's what's up, y'all. Listen, Setra was already talking about, girl, you got on some lipstick. I got to go throw on some lipstick, sis. We just keep it here and do what we do, but that's a very pretty color on you. I love it. I love that we can really rock any color. Let's kind of get into who you are and what you represent. I know you from way back. So we went to school, y'all. We got our MBAs together. That's how I met this phenomenal Black woman. And she has been doing all the things, podcasting, talking to people, creating her brand. I kind of want to start at the branding. How did that come about that you are the I Am Worth It person? How did that come?
Well, it came by accident in a way. I would say it came really for me just sharing my story. It came from a very, I guess you could say, a very hard part of my life, going through something with domestic violence with my ex-husband, and me not really knowing my worth. So when I moved here to Texas, I've been here in Texas since 2012. You know, I came here, I was doing good. Nobody knew what happened to me, and I'll share my story a little bit later, but nobody really knew what happened to me. So when I came here, I saw something on TV. It was where a husband went into a house and killed his wife, her friends, all that. And something just hit me, and it was just like, okay, Setra, it's time to share your story. And so I didn't want to share because I was here in Texas. Nobody knew my business. But I said, okay, let me start sharing. I started sharing my story. And as I started sharing it, I'm like, okay, you know what? I am helping other people. And while I'm sharing and speaking, I'm realizing, like, do I really know that I'm worth it? Like, do I really know? So every time I would speak as I'm helping others, I was really helping myself as well, because I never knew. You know, nobody ever talked to me about, you know, are you worth it? Do you know your worth? I never do that.
Speaking of that, I was just going to ask you that, girl. Like, we get all these narratives, all these definitions, and it'd be like, oh, know your worth, add text, girl. You got to know who you, how do you get to the point, or what does that even mean when you be like, know your worth? Because people don't know what that means. Like, what do that mean? Like, coming from you, just your specific narrative of when you tell people you got to know your worth. What does that mean?
You know what? When I always ask a question, whether you hear me speaking, if you ever hear my show, I always ask the person, what are you worth? And I let them answer it. And whatever answer that they say, I tell them, I say, you're absolutely right. So whatever they say, I tell them you're right. Because I tell them it's whatever it is that you believe. So we have to believe, we have to know it. So if I tell you, okay, you know what, I am worth love, I have to believe that. Not, you don't have to tell me. I have to tell myself and believe it. Because so many times we listen to what other people tell us, because I remember a lot of the negative things, that was said to me, especially from my ex-husband. Girl, he would tell me I'm ugly, nobody will want me, I got 3 kids, all of this.
Ain't that wild that people say that, but yet you with me? Like, what? Right. All the contradiction. Like, what?
Right. Like, okay. And so you remember a lot of the negative things, but why can't reverse that and say, you know what? I am beautiful. I am loved. I am worth my peace. I am worth my joy, and really believe that. And forget what other people say. We got to quit believing what people say about us.
Yeah, girl, that's a hard pill to swallow for sure, because most of the things that we know now, which is my job, my piece is helping people to unlearn the things that we bring with us, the luggage that's packed that we didn't pack. When we go on vacation, we sitting there like, oh, I'm always overpacking. Like, girl, I'll do a whole weekend and have a whole big luggage. But just as a metaphor, like some of the things that we carry with us, we didn't pack it. We were taught it, and we never got rid of that. So that's why it's so amazing with the branding of I am worth it. Are we delusional when we start to think about the worth, or what do you think about how we are perceived in our own mind?
As far as, you know what, I didn't really understand it or learn it. I went through therapy. So, I mean, I know for all your clients that see you, you're definitely helping them to unpack and not really believe the things that we were, taught. Because I look back in my childhood, I look back how I was raised, and I tell a lot of people, my father died when I was a baby. I didn't know him. My mother was on drugs all of her life till she died. My grandmother raised me. So love was something important to me that I felt like I've never gotten, even as young. So then when I think about it as I get older, I'm like, okay, why is it that I'm accepting this? So until a person recognizes it, which it will help through therapy, then a person can say, you know what, that's not who I am. And now you get to just say who you really are and when I say what you're worth, like now I know, okay, I am worth love. I am worth peace.
How long did it take you to get to that I am worth it? I am worth love. I'm worth the thing that you didn't get and was searching for. How long did that take you, or are you still searching for that?
You know what? I'm still, it's some days I'm still searching for it. And I have to remind myself, because I can tell you, I mean, I speak about it all day long. I'll tell people all day, like, girl, you worth it. But at times, do I really feel it? And I got to be honest, I don't all the time. I don't. And I have to remind myself, okay, you know what, Setra, get it back together. You are worth your peace. Don't let these people, don't let these kids, don't let whatever stress you out, or if it's like a bad relationship, like, don't worry about that. Love will come, that person will come, because even like with my ex-husband, I mean, who wants to get married and say, okay, I'm gonna get married because I know I want to get a divorce? Like, nobody, I don't think. But when I got married, I think, okay, this is my husband. We go, ride this out till the wheels fall off, right? But that wasn't the case, And it was, things throughout our marriage that happened. He was very verbally, physically abusive. And so I was just like, okay, you know what? I deserve better.
How old were you when you got married? Because we have this status, the love goes, the hashtag, I want to be married by 30. And
Woo.
so many people are really like, they want to be married. They want this dream that is sold through social media, which is so big. I won't even say social media because this was a thing before it was a thing, because I'm older than social media. So,
Okay, right.
so it's been a thing where people make a timeline of, I want to be married at this age, have babies, have da 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 da. But for you, did you have a timeline? Did you always want to be married? How old were you?
Well, I had two kids before my third son by my ex-husband. So, I was young. I was 19 when I had my oldest,
Oh, I
and
thought you said you was 19 when you got married. I'm like, look at you. You
girl, like, right, I wasn't married, so I had my oldest son that was 19. I had my daughter when I was 21. So I met my ex-husband when I was like in my late 20s. So I knew I wanted to be married then, because I said, okay, you know what? I want the family, right? I'm not having no more kids, no more, I wanted to do it the right way. So I said, okay, I want to get married and, how they say, live this American dream. Right.
so you know how people put a lot of expectations, a lot
Right.
of uh, specifics, especially on Black women, with the stigma of baby mama. I got two kids.
Mhm.
I need to be. I don't want to be a statistic.
Yeah.
Did any of that play a role in the next relationship?
Oh
With
yeah.
oh, okay, cool, all
Yeah, because
right.
I didn't want to be another baby mama, right? I didn't want, I wanted to be married and live that happily ever after, all of that. I wanted
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And with me having my oldest two, young. So yeah, so I had my youngest son when I was 32, I believe.
Okay.
If I
Mm.
was I was in my 30s. So I figured like, okay, I kind of, well, to me, I'm like, okay, we got it together. We had nice careers. We had, it was really like, it looked like it was the dream life to like
Oh.
my family growing up, because we had the house built, we had the cars, we had the careers, we had all of that. But
Uh-huh.
little did they know what was going on in the inside of the house.
Listen, that's a word, sis. That's what they say, a clock in moment, because
Girl.
people really will big you up about what they see in a
Mhm,
snapshot, but
mhm,
not realizing how the other pieces are surrounding that.
girl.
And everybody don't understand that. Everybody don't have the grace to do what everybody else is doing. So I love that you said that piece about, okay, it looked like this
Yeah.
was good.
Oh,
And listen, by no means necessary will I say that some people really don't have that dream going on. But we
right.
have to
Right.
understand that Cetra's dream is not
Right.
my dream. Like, I may not want a husband that's constantly under me or like I don't need the same kind of love. So the
Right.
definition and the narrative for love is what we have to describe. Like, for me, I always felt love. Like, I didn't have no issues with not
Mhm,
being loved. Like, okay, my grandma, my aunties, like I always had like love. I wasn't never looking for that.
mhm,
So my love looked different. It was more a love of support, engagement, having fun
mhm.
together. That's the kind of love I need. I don't
Wow.
need the same kind of love that somebody else may need. What is your love definition? What kind of love are you talking about you need it then, and then we'll talk about how that looks needed, what you need now.
I didn't feel like I didn't really get it in my family, because like I say, I never knew my father because he died when I was a baby. My
Mhm,
mother was never there because she was on drugs in the streets.
mhm.
My grandparents raised me, and what I saw love from them was like, her boyfriend pulling up, his girlfriend pulling up. Oh, but rest say, look, I'm not speaking bad, but this is what I saw. Okay,
Yeah. Look,
I
we just
saw.
telling the facts. I
I
don't
just
make
doing
the
the
news.
facts.
I just report
No, nobody better come calling me because I be like, y'all know that happened. Don't come lie. Look, no, but so yeah, and then I saw like uncles beating up girlfriends. So I never seen like what real love was. You know, I remember one time my grandfather, we were all like sitting around in the dining room, and my grandfather came up and tried to give my grandma a hug or a kiss or whatever. And I remember her doing like this. I'm like, what? Like, lady, that's your husband. Like, why are you doing that? So we didn't hear the "I love you." Here, let me give you a hug. We didn't get none of that. I can't even remember nobody telling me they love me growing up.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get that.
Yeah.
So I guess now that I'm older and I look back like through relationships, like, okay, is that really what I'm missing? I'm wanting. That, okay, Setra, come here. I love you.
The nurturing part.
That comfort, that nurturing. Girl, we didn't get that. It was like, girl, get out there and do what you got to do. Right. I'll be like, look, I'm only 14. Like, what?
Which is wild. And I feel like that is a thing, because I know, even though I did hear all the "I love you," not necessarily from primary parents, mom and dad, but from my secondary parents, my grandmother, my grandfather, my aunts, that was always a thing. It still is. Like, even to this day, if anybody knows me, y'all listening, y'all know everybody gonna be like, if I say who my favorite auntie, they gonna be like Auntie Felicia, because she still sends me like care packages, and it'll have like coloring books in it and money, like go get lunch. But it's always been a space where I was nurtured by that side of the by my family. So for me, it looks different when I have a partner who doesn't. I don't need you to do that part, because it's been so instilled in me that I can pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, Auntie, I'm ready." She gonna be like, "Come, pull up. I'll be here in a minute." Like, I don't need that. But what I do need is a person that's very supportive. And that's what love looks like to me, is the supportive part. That third level of the hierarchy on the Maslow's pyramid of security and safety. So it sounds like you needed the second level of love and belonging.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I didn't know. We just threw it to grandmama's house. A bunch of cousins in the house. So yeah, I didn't have any of that.
For you, like, as we're talking about loving self and being worth it, because you are a very pretty young lady, right? Like, you are attractive. It couldn't be a secret to you or an anomaly, because I'm sure that growing up or even moving into this space, you have had men that have told you that you were pretty. Did the attractive factor play into how you dealt with me in relationships moving forward? Was the feeling loved, was that love bombing a part of how you moved in relationships?
You know what? I was just talking about this earlier.
Look at me knowing what you was talking about.
And so I was telling a friend, I was like, okay, well, growing up, my nickname in the neighborhood was Scarface, right? Scarface, because I was riding my bike and I scarred my face up, right? So that was my name in the neighborhood through middle school and pretty much through high school. So I didn't never feel like I was pretty. I didn't feel it until maybe like, I would say maybe my 10th, 11th grade year. That's when I started feeling like, oh, okay, well, you know what? You're not so bad looking. Right. So it wasn't until I got older that I started like, okay, well, that's not my name. I'm not Scarface. I'm not this. So yeah. So as far as me looking in the mirror every day and say, girl, you look good, it takes a minute. It does.
How do you feel about affirmations and repeatedly saying those things to yourself? Is that part of your brand? Is that something that you believe in, or would have people to do? To, how people be like, fake it till you make it, or what is your stance on affirmations as far as your brand as a motivational speaker, and as I am worth it strategist, love strategist? what does that look like for affirmations?
Oh, I'm big on affirmations. Big, look, I got them on my computer. I got them on my phone. Look, I got them everywhere, all around the house. Look, I remember when my oldest two, when they was young, right? They was like in high school. They 32 and 30, right? So I would have all these affirmations around the house, like in the bathroom, in the kitchen, and I would put it as if it was right there. So I would be like, I'm living, like, thank you for my mansion. Thank you for my living in Texas. Thank you for. So I would put all that in there. And so his friends, I remember my son's friends, they would come over and they'd be looking at the affirmations and they'd be looking at Dante, looking at me like, your mama do know where she living at, right?
Right. Is she okay?
Right. Your mama do know where she driving, right? Like it's something going on here. But it's so funny because I look back at that and I'm like, a lot of the stuff I have manifested because look, I'm here in Texas. I put Texas on there like maybe in 2005 or something, and I moved here in 2012. So I am real big for affirmation.
Yeah. So
yeah, they thought I was a little cuckoo.
Listen, we all got to be cuckoo, Delulu. Right. We got to be all those things in order to move forward. Like I said, the biggest thing for me is making sure that we continuously feed into ourselves because our safe space has got to be inside. It can't be outside. But it's also good to have people that surround you, that hype you up, that big you up, that when you feel like it's too much, I can't do it no more, I'm done. You can call your people and they be like, no, listen, we ain't doing that. Let's be for real. If we're going to be anything, we're going to be for real. Do you have that kind of support system that allows you to fall down and get picked back up?
Honestly, I don't, but you. I think when I be going through, and I be feeling so guilty because I be like, let me call you, and I be calling you like, girl, guess what such and such did? And then I try not to put so much on you because I know your job and what you do. You're talking to your clients. You probably don't want me boo-hoo crying about what's going on over here. But other than that, I hold a lot of stuff in. A lot of stuff. Like, I would just hold it in so nobody knows. So I feel like I really don't have that.
So when you don't have that, as we're segueing into what we wanted to talk about, how does that look as far as vulnerability? If I hold everything in and I'm not quite sure if I release what I'm really feeling, what that's going to look like, how does that play a part in the I Am Worth It brand, the Setra as a person? How do I release that if I'm always holding everything in?
I don't know. It's scary.
It is.
For me. It really is. I mean, I really don't know how to really do it because I am so used to holding it in. I'm used to falling back. Now I can hype somebody up all day long. I could, like I say, I could be your cheerleader, girl. I'd be like, girl, like, you worth it, girl. People be screaming like, I am. All day long. But then as far as like with me, sometimes I just be like, okay, like, really, can I be vulnerable and really tell what's really going on with me? Because I don't really have that safe space with someone other than my therapist. But, it would be nice if I can call somebody and be like, look, this is what's really going on with me without me thinking that they're going to judge me. I think a lot of it may be, too, that, how would they look at me? Would they look at me like, oh, Setra really ain't got it going on like we think she do, because
the perception,
right, and especially in my family, I mean, they will find some negative to say quick, rather than how can I help you? What is it that you need?
Yeah,
I don't get that from them. It'd be like, oh, that's what you get, in a way. So I don't have that, and so that's why I do hold it in.
How does that translate into being a mom? Like for me, because I know how I felt and how I wanted things to look different. I remember when you were little, I don't know if everybody did this. I wrote a whole list of stuff like I'm never gonna do as a mom. Because I think you might know, and I know a lot of my guests know, I wanted 6 kids.
Mm,
Simply because all of my friends always had big families, and I'd be like, oh,
okay.
that looks so good. Our family is little. Like literally, we can fit everybody into one
Okay.
room for the holidays. But however, I remember writing down the things that I would not allow or have my children go through. Um, they don't have to get up and make up no bed. They don't have to
Mm,
struggle. I wrote all these things down, and I look back at the list, and I definitely, when people talk about generational curses, I don't
mm,
even think about that in the way of curses. I think about it in the way of generational misfeeding. So when I see what I didn't like as a child, how it
mhm.
made me feel on the inside, I know
Right,
that I don't want to pass that on to my kids. Like, I
right,
don't want y'all to have to feel like, oh, I got to figure this out myself. You don't. I don't want me to have to give you the blueprint of what your life should look like. You don't want to go to college? Okay, but tell me what you do want to do. You don't,
right.
like, all those things really mattered to me. And I remember my mother saying to me at one point, you don't think you give your kids too much freedom?
Oh, okay. And how was that? With the
I thought that I did, I wouldn't.
right,
I give them freedom because
right.
I want them to understand who they are. I also want them to figure out when they fail that, okay, I messed that up, and I'm gonna teach you how that affected you, but you still can go on. So yeah,
Mhm,
you have freedom. It's okay. I don't
mhm.
ever want to be in control of somebody else's. I'm not gonna let them run out and I know they're gonna get hit by a bus. But
Right.
now they grown. I think, how old is my kids? Like 30 something. I always, and my niece, Courtney and Brittany, be like, Auntie, you always keep us little. We 35, 30. I'm like, are you? But I said all that to say,
Oh,
how did
wow.
your
Right.
upbringing and how what you know now, how does that affect the way that you raise your children and your G babies?
Oh, I know, right? I was the one that be like, I want to do everything opposite of what my mother did. Me, I'm just keeping it real. I did. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
like I say, with me seeing her, on drugs, I say, I would never use drugs. I will
Mm-hmm.
always be the parent there for my kids because my grandparents raised them. Because my mother, she dropped me off to my grandparents. I say I would be that parent for them, even though I was young. I had my youngest, like I said, at 19 to 21, but I still wanted to be there. And now that they're grown, 32, 30, and my youngest is 20,
Mm-hmm.
I just look and I just say, okay, I'm there for you. And people may say, oh, well, you know what? Well, you spoil your kids, you do this, you do that. But my kids are doing very, very well, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm so, proud of them. And I know that it's because of the things that I taught them while they were growing up,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
because, not to say like everybody in our family is bad, because it's not, I'm not on here to bash my family. But
Mm-hmm.
I look at some of the things that I did different with mine, and I'm like, okay, they may be a little spoiled. Yeah, they may be. But they're
Listen.
good. They're good kids. You know what I'm saying? So they are doing very well. I mean, my daughter just got married last month. Beautiful,
So
beautiful.
beautiful. She
And
got a beautiful spirit inside and out. Like you all are like twins, and sometimes like my kid is a twin. That's sometimes how it's a bashing. Like
mm,
she just told me the other day, like, girl, remember when I wasn't your little friend? Now look at you now, all calling me like, girl, shut your mouth. But yeah,
yeah,
you are my
yeah.
friend. But secondarily, how do you maneuver when we talked about not having a safe space, not knowing if it's okay to share? What kind of fears run rampant in your mind that you have to pull back?
I guess I will still think about what would people think about me.
Hmm.
because I put on this, this look, like, hey, this is what people see because they see me out in front, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't see what's really going on the inside. Because I mean, I would go and like do speaking engagement. I remember one time I did a speaking engagement before. I went on there was speaking. People like, oh, thank you, thank you. But little do they know, and this is my first time saying it. I went in my car.
Mm-hmm.
And I slept in my car, and people were like, "Well, why did you sleep in your car?" Because they was taking a while for my apartment to get ready, and I didn't want to ask my kids, so I slept in the car, and I didn't want to tell my family. Well, I kind of was telling them that I was kind of like going through something, and they was just like, "Well, that's what you get for going to Texas. You should come here," and so it was just all negative. So I said, "You know what? I'm not gonna even tell nobody." And I
Okay.
left the stage, went right in my car, pulled up in the parking lot, and went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew. And I went the next day, like nothing happened.
Yeah. What
So,
would
cause
you say is the thing, the biggest thing for you right now at this big age is we going and maneuvering down the timeline? What is the biggest thing that you feel like you are missing and haven't gotten yet?
ooh, girl, you got me thinking.
That's what I do. This is what. Where's the light bulb? Hey, listen. When you edit this out, sir, I need you to put a light bulb right in this space right here.
Right, right, like like girl, what you thought? You want to must be the mental. You ain't come
Must
here to
be the
play,
mental. We talking mental, sis. We
right?
talking mental.
Okay,
Yeah.
what was the question again? Look, okay, let me
So
put it
in this space right now, in our big age, we on a timeline. We moving forward. Our former days will, our latter days will be better than our former days. What is it that you feel like you are missing? That you want that piece of the puzzle? What piece is missing for you right now?
I just really want to make sure that I'm in alignment with my purpose. Um, and some days I wake up and I feel like I'm missing the mark.
Mm,
Like,
oh,
okay,
good.
this
That's
day,
good. That's a word, sis. Yes.
like, is this day being wasted, or are you really doing what you're called to do?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And that's what I'm kind of struggling with too. Like, okay, because I try a lot of things. I did the podcast, the magazine, all of this. So me really just asking God, like, okay, where should I be and be okay with it?
mm-hmm,
Because sometimes, I make decisions for financial reasons. Oh, okay, I got to make some money. I can't be on the streets. I got to do this. But am I being fulfilled? So
right.
that right there is just really making sure that I'm living a life on purpose and
Mm-hmm.
I'm really doing what I'm called to do. And it wouldn't hurt if, God gives me a forever partner in the process. But,
So that's a real desire right there. Um, we ask for partners. Is the partnership a real desire at this age because you want to do things with somebody, or is it a love interest? Is the partnership important to you because what's the dot 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 behind the partnership?
I believe it's love because even though I married my ex-husband, and I tell people they think I'm silly. I be like, I negotiated with God. I kind of got a negotiation going on with God right now. I told him, I'm like, look, don't take me off this earth until I fall in love. I don't think I
Oh,
truly fell in love. Now I've had some boyfriends and all that, but I just don't know what it really feels like to really be in love or to really feel like somebody really loves me.
mm, that's
Guys may say it, but do after it's all over with that I really, really, really feel it and I could really say, you know what, that guy really loved me. I can't
mm,
say that. Out of all the boyfriends I done had, I really can't say that.
mm. How would that show up for you? What would that look like for you to be able to say, somebody really loves me? What would that one thing that you could look at, tangible, non tangible, emotional, what would that thing look like for you to attach to love?
I think it'd be more like a feeling in a way. It'd be like the feeling like, okay, he's listening, he knows my heart, he has, my needs. He like he's really
Mm-hmm.
there and
Mm-hmm.
not being selfish where it's about him.
Yeah.
I think it'd just be more of a feeling. And not just like the temporary feeling in the beginning, how when you first meet somebody, but it's just no, you know how you ever heard somebody where they would say, oh, when I met my husband, like the older people, they'd be like, oh, when I met my husband, I knew he was the one. And then they'd be married for like 60, 70 years. I want that. I just knew he was the one. I haven't found that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at you trying to be old school, knowing somebody don't want.
I do want it. And that's because, like I say, I've been in relationships and I look back at them and I just be like, you know, they wasn't right. Because a lot of stuff come out afterwards, you know, after we break up. Then I found out he done had 2 kids while we were together. I done found out he was living with a girl, you know, so I'm finding out all this stuff. And I'm like, he really didn't love and care about me and my needs. So yeah, I want it to be where, you know, I ain't got to worry about all that.
Yeah, I know that you said that you wanted to be fulfilled. You wanted to do your purpose. For you, is purpose and assignment the same thing?
I think so. You know what? I think my assignment, well, I want, you know what? Usually when I tell people when they ask what their purpose is, I know the purpose is tied to who you're helping. I think everybody's purpose, that's just my opinion, that everybody's purpose is who are you helping? Because it's not about so much me, what am I going to get out of it? It's what am I doing to help someone else? Yeah. So I know that that's my purpose. And I believe that, yeah, I am doing it, but am I following it with an assignment that God has given me? So that's where I feel like I'm at that tug of war in my life right now.
So this is the defining age or year or season for you to see what's the next level?
I do. Yeah, I do. I mean, because when I was speaking a lot, because I'm an advocate for domestic violence. So do you mind if I share my story a little bit?
Girl, let me get my cup. This is what we out here for.
Right. If I would have known, I would have had my cup right here too. Look. But yeah. So we got a divorce, I believe, back in 2008, 2009, something like that. So we got divorced on the Friday. So 2 days later, that Sunday, my ex-husband, so we were separated like a year. So he was living in the house, I had moved out. So our divorce was final Friday. That Sunday, he broke into the house that I was staying at. And 2 of my kids were there, the 12-year-old and the 2-year-old. And he told them to stand there and watch me kill your mother. So he came with a knife. I remember with, okay, let me back it up a little bit. So I had went out of town that weekend. Me and my aunt, we went to Canada. So Detroit, you go under the bridge, over the bridge, under the tunnel, you to Canada 10 minutes, right? So we had them old phones where, you know, you really didn't have good connection. So we was divorced Friday. He knew we was divorced. And so he just kept calling me that whole weekend. I'm just like, why is he calling me? You know, like we divorced, like, why is he calling me? So my oldest son called me and say, well, my ex-husband came and got my youngest son out the house that Saturday. So I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, so what? He with his daddy, let him go. No big deal, right?
Yeah.
So I remember on Sunday, me about to go back home, he called me and he asked me, he said, are you at home? And I'm like, no. And then I hung up because I'm wondering like why he worried about if I'm at home or not. Right. So just by the tone of his voice, I was like, okay, you know what? Something don't sound right. So I remember when I got home, I went home and I locked my screen door because I said, I knew he had my youngest son. So I say, if he come, I know he have to ring the doorbell and I have to let him in. So I gets in the house, I'm putting my bags up. And next thing you know, girl, I turn around and he's like in my face, just like this.
Oh my God, that's got to be scary, man.
So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, was he already in the house? Because he just asked, was I there? But later on, I found out that he had broke in. He had cut the screen lock. And when he came that Saturday, he ended up taking my oldest son key, which I found out later. And so he's in the bedroom right there. So I just automatically, so he closed the door and he locked it. So I'm just thinking like, okay, like something ain't right. So I remember having my cell phone. So I'm turning around, you know, trying to call 911. Girl, he snatched the cell phone, threw it up against the wall. And next thing I know, girl, he pulled the knife out and he just started stabbing me.
Oh God.
And so the kids were in the basement. So they heard it. And I tell people, oh my gosh, do not be mad at them kids if they be sneaking in your room, because I'm glad that I had one of those locks that you could just take a coin and just unlock it.
Yeah.
So my 12-year-old knew at the time how to get in my bedroom, right? So he ended up opening the door. And when they opened the door, that's my ex-husband. He put the knife up to my neck and he just said, y'all stand there and watch me kill your mother. So the 12-year-old and the 2-year-old, they stood there. They didn't know what to do. They scared, right?
Right, yeah.
I just remember just looking at them, and he had the knife up to my neck. And so I just grabbed the knife, and I'm telling the kids, like, run, run, run. And he just pulled the knife out and just, just started stabbing me. And then I'm looking, and guess what the kids doing? They still standing there because they scared. He told me. Yeah. And so even with the stab wounds, I tell people, I remember him, he choked me. So he choked me and I passed out. So I still tell people I heard God's voice say that I'm not going to die today, not like this in front of my kids.
Right,
and so I was able to get up. And as I get up, I'm trying to run, girl. I remember I had a ponytail, right? I just got my hair done that weekend, girl. I had it stopped up, girl. Gel, girl, you couldn't tell me nothing, right? I had it gelled up with a million Barbie pins, girl. They be putting them darn Barbie pins in your head, in your scalp. So I had, it was spritz, all that. So I remember running out the room, girl, and why he just yanked my head and just all I heard.
Oh gosh,
girl. So we still end up we're getting out the house. So I remember his car door was open and his car was running. So as I now we're outside, so the neighbors, everybody, they kind of like out now. And he grabbed me, like, girl, trying to put me in his car. And I'm thinking to myself, if this man put me in this car, I'm dead, because he wasn't gonna take me to no hospital. Like, I'm all good.
Right. You're the one did it. What would you take me to save me for?
So he came there to do that. So, girl, so now the neighbor's out. So I end up getting, he ended up letting me go. I ran across the street and I just collapsed in front of the neighbors across the street. I just fell out. But he left. He was on the run. So it was like a breaking news in Detroit, girl. He was on the run for 2 weeks. So, girl, me and the kids, we in hiding because we can't tell nobody where we at. When I get to the hospital, girl, the police is all outside my hospital door because my family couldn't even come in because, they don't know where he at. So, girl, now I'm feeling the pain, girl. I'm like, where the doctor at? I need some medicine. My hands are cut up. They couldn't do nothing because they had to wait because now it's a police investigation. So now I'm like, the adrenaline gone. They didn't pick me up off the neighbor's grass. So, so he ended up going to prison for 12 years. He's out now. But he served 12 years for attempted murder and felonious assault against a minor. So the time when I said that he was choking me, I found out that my 12-year-old had jumped on his back and said, get out my mom, she's not breathing. And then he let go of me and turned around and stabbed my son in the face. So that's how he ended up getting a felonious assault against a minor charge too, because my 12-year-old. So that's how he ended up letting me go because, girl, he was choking me. So when I tell people about the stab wounds and all of that, I'm like, I was out. So I'm thank God,
still out and you are still okay.
Yeah, and I'm good. Some people, it took me a long time to like wear like sleeveless shirts because you can still see some of the marks, and a lot of the marks were like on my hands, like my nerve is cut. My fingers always tingling, so I'm gonna always feel that. So, and I remember the doctors telling me, they like, you are, they call it lucky because they was like, thank God that knife was not as sharp as what he thought it was, because I saw him coming at me like this, and I'm just holding my hand. So I got a lot of on my arm, on my hands, my arms. I had a few on my face, but I just thank God I'm alive. And then I had to get stitches in my head from when he pulled my ponytail out.
Girl, this right here is a lifetime. I do the shows For My Man. I do Fatal Attraction. All these things are definitely something, a cautionary tale that can help other women who, even though I got rid of this nigga, I still am being haunted by the things that happened from that part. How long were you in this abusive relationship before you said, hey, enough is enough, I got to get out of here?
Well, he was the only one that I was in a abusive relationship, and it was throughout our marriage. So people would be like, well, were there any signs? There were, but
always signs. Even if a person don't abuse you, we stay in relationships with people, guys, jobs, all those things. Just because it gets familiar, you have things you got to pay. Like you said in the very beginning, I got bills to pay. I got little kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's never for me. Why did you stay, or how long, or where were they signed? Who cares about a sign? We go through red lights, we go through stop signs, we do all the things, but we are human beings. We aren't folding shirts at the Gap. Right. But because the Lord definitely spared your life, because there's something he wants you to do, he also made sure that even in all of that, your protection, your legacy, your generation was like, let me protect my babies, all those things then put a layer and a covering over you, but it also stops me at times from being vulnerable and authentic in spaces that don't have anything to do with the story, because I can tell the story because I want to help somebody else. What now the layer stops you from telling the real story, or something that is very personal and private to you that you don't want other people to know, simply because of all the exposure and the evidence that people will betray you as far as, what did you do? Why shouldn't you have, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard, even in my space. Like, I think I told you, and a lot of people know, that in January 2025, I literally was heartbroken by betrayal of relationships, that, I had to be okay, sit in it, suffer through it, and then still use my voice, because I know the gifting for me is my voice. And people will try to steal that at so many different turns. They want me to be quiet. They don't want me to talk. Then people literally will say it. But for you, your life, your actual life was trying to be stolen from you. And the Lord wouldn't let it. So what would you say is a vulnerability that you are afraid of being naked, I would say, in front of other people?
Just letting people just see that other side of me, because people see this. Yeah. So this is okay. So it's okay to mask.
Yeah.
As they would say.
Absolutely.
Because it's when you do the unmasking, a lot of us, we get hurt by the people, who we thought were our friends, who we thought, who we married, who we thought, our family members who we're close to. Those the ones that's really, the bad ones talking about you.
Shoot, I've never been hurt by an enemy. It's always been somebody standing right here. I love you, girl. I got you. You my boo. They'll be the ones that be like,
Yep. And them the ones
you. They don't do the they hate you out loud. So it's cool.
Yep. And them the ones that you talk to. Them the ones who you were vulnerable with. Those are the ones you did tell what was going on in your life. Now when they're not your friends, you're not cool. Guess what they doing? They taking what you told them, and now they're going and telling somebody else. And it's just like, wait a minute, like, I told you that I came to you because thinking it's a safe space, but then you got to think like, okay, now you take it to somewhere else. So what do I do? So now I'm gonna hold it in because I don't know who to trust now. I don't know who to tell it to, because if we're not cool no more, how I know you gonna go back and tell somebody else? So that's why I just hold it in.
I think it's so good, and what is so authentic and special about you, coming from the perspective of I know who you are, is you are willing to tell your story so that it doesn't hold you hostage. And you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we forget about all the things. That's why I say celebrate, sit in a moment, kind of think about the things that you have done, because you are very authentic. And this is what happened to me. You know what? This is why I speak on this. This person tried to do this to me. All these things, like when you somebody try to blackmail you, if they don't have nothing to, okay, I'm gonna tell you said this. Okay, well, I'm gonna tell it first, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna tell it the way I want to tell it.
Right.
So now the person doesn't have that hold on you, that noose on you, because you already let it go. And
Mhm.
you've done that in a lot of spaces.
Yeah.
So that is our superpower, when
Yeah.
we don't allow people to control the narrative of
Mm.
how we show up and show out.
Right.
So I love that you are able to tell your story in such an authentic and genuine way. Y'all, you can also read her story in your book. Where can they find your book?
It's on Amazon. It's You're Worth It. Go after your dreams and achieve the impossible. It's on Amazon. The magazine is worthitmagazine.com. The
Mhm.
podcast is You're Worth It podcast. So it's on all social media. They can just look up You're Worth It podcast, You're Worth It magazine.
What would you tell the people that are listening, and podcasts, because you have one, social media is perpetual, so somebody could be listening 10 minutes from now, 10 hours, 10 years from now, and hear your voice, hearing your story. What would you tell them or want them to know about how fear can hold you hostage and how to release that?
You share your story. That's the hardest thing for us to do.
Mhm,
When you realize that it can help someone else,
mhm,
then that's what you should do. Because I tell people, I say everybody has a story. Your story may not be like mine, but if you're using it to help and inspire and encourage and give someone else hope, then you do that. And
mhm.
because it was hard for me to share it. I mean, when God told me to share, girl, I'm like, who me? You know how you hear that voice and you're like, not me. I'm good here in
Right,
Texas. Nobody
right.
need to know my business. But
Mhm,
my whole life changed when I did, because I realized it wasn't just for me, because I saw how I was helping other people. So I just want to tell other people, you know, do something that you can encourage and inspire someone else. That's what we're here for. Let's quit with all the negative stuff saying about people. Let's do
mhm.
more inspiring and uplifting and really living it, not just saying it like, girl, I got you, like really, really meaning it. And just make somebody's day. You could just tell somebody, oh, I like your outfit. I like your hair. I like
Uh,
this. You just don't know what people are going through. And that can really, really help someone just by saying, you know what, you look good, girl. Like I told you, that lipstick, I'm like, girl, that lipstick banging. Like, let me go get me some.
yeah.
So just
Lip
little
bar,
things.
you heard her. You heard her. Boss Lady, Lip Bar, TLB, come on through. Sponsorship. Melissa Butler, calling you to the
Okay.
front.
That's the lip gloss, that's the lipstick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
The
need to
Lip
get me
Bar.
some. See?
Yep.
There you
Yeah. So
go.
that is an amazing testament to tell people. And it's going to be scary, because I know for me, I have been in situations where I always knew 100% that I was that girl. But
Mm,
listening to other people, and people being, and I don't even know if they were on purpose,
mm.
jealous of just the aura, the spirit, it then made me dumbed down to a degree, well, a big degree, that
Oh,
I
wow.
could fit in with other people who didn't have the magic that I had. So in 2025.25, the Lord
Okay.
was like, listen, we ain't doing that no more. Whatever
Okay.
your story is, whatever you want to show people, let that be your story to tell. Don't
Mm,
let other people find out or even make up a story, so
mm,
that you are now going behind the scenes to say, oh, yeah, this happened and this is why I do this. So that's when a lot of imposter syndrome comes up. That's
Mm.
when a lot of, I feel like a fraud because I've been saying this and this, and now somebody found a little piece, or somebody from the past knew this piece. Well, you know, she used to do this. This,
Girl,
it's an open book. Whatever she used to do is what she used to do.
you
I don't know that version no more. So
okay?
I'm so glad that Setra came through to tell us she don't know that version no more, y'all. Her story is her story. If y'all want to get in touch with her, to book her for a webinar, to talk to her about, maybe it's some people going through a domestic situation right now and they don't know what to do about it. I don't want to stay, but I don't know how to leave. I just need somebody to encourage me. You know, you can call her. Setra, again, give the listeners where they can get in touch with you so that they have, like you said, have somebody that I can reach out to, I can talk to. I know that your new platform is that you give affirmation so that people can have something tangible to put in their mind. So when they're going through something, they got it. So give us some kind of ways to reach out for you.
For me, I'm on social media. Everything is Setra Stevenson, Setra Stevenson, and at setrastevenson.com. And for the magazine, the podcast, everything's up under You're Worth It. So if you look up You're Worth It magazine, you can go to that website, You're Worth It podcast. You can, what's called You're Worth It show. You can go on there, and there's links on there where if you want to be a guest, if you want to be featured in a magazine, there's links on there on how to reach us directly. Or you could just go to setrastevenson.com.
Woohoo! Y'all heard it. Thank y'all for pulling up. We're not finished with Setra yet because we still got so much more to unpack, layer, to talk about. Y'all know we Black girls out here in these streets, and we got like so much more. The melanin is melanin. If toilet paper can be two things, soft and strong, I know we can. So let's get at it. I will talk to y'all in 2 weeks. And don't forget to subscribe to the Must Be the Mental podcast. Get you a cupcake, a candle, and a drink, and sit down and celebrate you. I love y'all for real, and it ain't nothing y'all can do about it. Bye.